The text on her phone screen glared at me like a blade catching moonlight. Miss you already. Can't wait for next time. It was from Ethan, her so-called best friend, sent to my wife, Claire, at 2:17 a.m. I stood in the half-lit kitchen, the quiet hum of the refrigerator somehow deafening. My thumb hovered over the glowing screen, my heart pounding hard enough to rattle my ribs. I wasn't meant to see this. Claire had left her phone on the counter, unlocked, something she almost never did. She guarded that device the way someone guards a diary. I tried to tell myself it was harmless. Just a friendly late-night message. A joke, maybe. But the words clung to me like splinters, digging deeper with each second. Claire and I had been married 7 years. Our life together had been steady, morning coffees in mismatched mugs, late-night Netflix marathons, the kind of quiet companionship that felt unshakable. She had a presence that lit up any room, her laugh was a melody that could make strangers smile. Ethan had been in her life long before I arrived. They met in college, and he'd always been around, dropping by with craft beer, making her laugh with stories I'd heard a dozen times. I'd never felt threatened by him. Not until recently. Lately, something felt different. Too many glances that lingered. Messages answered with unnatural speed. Hugs that lasted just a fraction too long. When I brought it up last week, Claire's expression hardened. "You're so insecure, Mark," she'd snapped. "He's like my brother. Stop making it weird." Now, standing in that kitchen, I scrolled upward through their messages, my stomach churning. The earlier texts seemed harmless enough. Then they began to change, warmer, more private. "Lunch tomorrow?" Ethan had written. "Can't. Mark's home." Claire's reply. "Sneak away. I'll make it quick." My breath caught. That day, she'd told me she was at yoga. I pictured her not in leggings and a ponytail, but leaning across a cafe table toward him, eyes unguarded, hand brushing his. I wanted to hurl the phone at the wall. Instead, I set it down, my hands trembling. The clock above the stove ticked toward 3 a.m. upstairs. Claire slept peacefully, unaware of the storm gathering in my chest. The next morning, I studied her over breakfast, searching for cracks. She stirred sugar into her coffee, humming softly, her auburn hair glowing in the morning sun. "Sleep okay?" she asked lightly. I nodded, my throat dry. "Yeah. You?" She smiled, oblivious, or pretending to be. I wanted to confront her right there. Demand the truth. But doubt and fear held me back. What if I really was just insecure? Days dragged by, each one a balancing act between suspicion and self-reassurance. I noticed things I'd once ignored, her phone always face down, angled away when she typed, the faint trace of cedarwood cologne Ethan's scent, clinging to her scarf. I told myself friends could share scents. But at night, the questions circled endlessly. Why did she laugh louder with him? Why did her eyes soften when his name came up? I began checking her phone when she showered, hating myself for it. Every message felt like another puzzle piece sliding into place. "You looked gorgeous today," Ethan wrote. "You're not so bad yourself," she replied, adding a wink emoji that hit me like a punch. I couldn't keep quiet anymore. That Friday night after dinner, I waited until she set her wine glass down. The glow of fairy lights wrapped the living room in a soft haze. "Claire," I said, forcing my voice to stay calm. "We need to talk about Ethan." Her eyes flicked up, cautious. "What about him?" "You're too close with him. It's crossing a line." She laughed, sharp, brittle. "You're insecure, Mark. He's my friend. You're making this something it's not." But her hands twisted the hem of her sweater, and for a split second, guilt flashed across her face. "Then why is he texting you at 2 in the morning? Why is he saying he misses you?" I pressed. Her color drained before she fired back. "You went through my phone?" "That's low, Mark." I paced, my pulse roaring in my ears. Don't turn this on me. You're lying to me. You're sneaking around with him. I'm not sneaking around. You're blowing this way out of proportion, she snapped, but her voice cracked, and I knew I was right. The truth surfaced slowly over the next week, each revelation cutting deeper. A coffee shop receipt in her purse she swore she hadn't been to. A hushed phone call, promising Ethan she'd figure it out. One afternoon, I followed her. My stomach twisted as I watched them in the park, sitting too close on a bench, her head resting on his shoulder. It wasn't physical. Not yet. But it was worse in its own way, a betrayal of trust, the slow shift of her heart toward someone else. That night, I asked, "Do you love him?" The question felt like poison on my tongue. She looked away, tears in her eyes. I don't know. I love you, but he understands me in ways you don't. Her words were a blade, slicing through 7 years of vows. I couldn't hate her. I couldn't even hate Ethan. All I felt was grief. She wasn't evil, just human, torn between loyalty and desire. I saw her guilt, the way she still reached for my hand in her sleep. But it wasn't enough. I moved out the next day, leaving behind our home and the life I thought was permanent. A month later, I was at a dimly lit bar nursing a whiskey when my phone buzzed. I'm sorry. I ended things with Ethan. Can we talk? My heart twisted between hope and hurt. Then another text came from an unknown number. A photo loaded slowly, Claire and Ethan laughing in a car, her hand resting on his thigh, time-stamped just an hour earlier. She's lying to you again. The glass slipped from my hand, shattering on the floor. The noise of the bar faded until all I could hear was the echo of my own breaking heart. Claire had never really chosen me. And as I sat there among strangers, I realized the worst part: the betrayal wasn't only hers. It was mine, for believing love was unshakable.